Equity and capital gain. Equity and capital gain are both important to an exchange, but they are rarely the same number. Let's take a cursory look at how you determine both your equity and your capital gain, shall we? First, equity represents the hard-earned value that is yours in any property you own. So if you take your gross selling price and subtract your closing expenses or closing costs, and then further subtract the amount of any debt that you have on that property, that remaining number which is left over is going to be your equity. Now how about capital gain? Well, in order to determine gain, we need to know what is called your cost basis. And your cost basis is going to be informed by when you bought the property. So when you bought the property, you had a purchase price, correct? Well, that will be the start of your cost basis, which actually changes over time. For instance, if you've done any improvements to your property, that amount should be added to that basis. And likewise, if you deducted any depreciation while you own the property, that should be subtracted. Therefore, let's determine your cost basis and gain this way. Let's find our final cost basis, or what is called adjusted basis. That will be our original purchase price, plus any improvements, and then less any depreciation. That will give us our final adjusted basis. Now let's once again take that net selling price from our sale, deduct our final adjusted basis, and bingo, that number is going to be our capital gain, the number with which you would pay gain tax if you don't exchange. One last thing, here's a very simple rule that works in exchanges if you want to have a totally tax-free transaction. And that is, accomplish these two things and your exchange should be tax-free. Number one, buy a replacement property that is equal or greater in value than your net selling price. And two, move all your equity from the old property into the new one. If you do those two things, you'll be in great shape tax-wise. And that is equity and capital gain.